On May 7, 2022, Jordan Peterson stood before graduating students at Hillsdale College in Michigan. His commencement address, often titled "At a Crossroads," asked a difficult question. When life presents several directions, how do you choose the path that will not leave you bitter, aimless, or divided against yourself? Peterson did not promise comfort. He argued that adulthood begins when a person stops asking only, "What do I want?" and begins asking, "What responsibility is waiting for me?" That idea sits at the center of his work. Peterson trained as a clinical psychologist, earned his doctorate at McGill University, and later taught at Harvard and the University of Toronto. His work examined personality, belief, addiction, conflict, and the stories people use to organize their lives. His message came from a practical observation. People can endure extraordinary difficulty when they believe their suffering serves a meaningful purpose. When pain appears pointless, resentment grows quickly. This creates the first lesson. Meaning is not found by avoiding every burden. It is often found by choosing a burden worth carrying. A student may imagine freedom as the absence of obligation. Peterson reverses that idea. Without commitments, freedom can become drift. A person with no promises, no duties, and no long-term aim may have many options, but no direction. Responsibility narrows life, but it can also give life shape. The second lesson concerns aim. Peterson told graduates that perception is organized around goals. We notice what seems useful to what we are trying to accomplish. Change the aim, and the same world begins to look different. A vague life creates vague attention. If your goal is merely to feel good, you may avoid anything difficult. If your goal is to become dependable, useful, and courageous, difficulty becomes evidence that the task matters. The question is not whether you will struggle. The question is whether the struggle is moving you towards someone you respect. Peterson also warned against building an identity from resentment. It is easy to explain every failure through unfair systems, bad luck, family history, or the faults of other people. Some explanations may be true. Poverty, illness, discrimination, and injustice can shape opportunity. But explanation is not the same as strategy. Even when a person is not responsible for the original wound, that person may still become responsible for the next decision. This is the third lesson. Personal responsibility is not a claim that every problem is your fault. It is the decision not to surrender every possible response. Peterson's public life makes the message more complicated. Supporters see him as a defender of responsibility, truth, and free inquiry. Critics argue that he sometimes reduces structural problems to individual choices or frames political conflict too dramatically. Those criticisms matter because no speaker should be treated as an oracle. The useful approach is to separate the strongest idea from the personality delivering it. His strongest idea is simple: speak carefully, tell the truth as well as you can, and accept the consequences of becoming more honest. Why does truth matter? Because every lie creates a second reality that must be maintained. One lie changes a conversation. Repeated lies can change a career, a marriage, an institution, or a country. Eventually, the liar becomes trapped inside a structure built to avoid reality. Truth does not guarantee immediate success. It can cost status, approval, or comfort, but falsehood charges interest. The fourth lesson is that discipline creates future freedom. Peterson encouraged graduates to make themselves useful, strengthen their relationships, improve what is within reach, and resist the temptation to criticize the entire world while ignoring disorder in their own lives. That principle can become too narrow if it is used to silence legitimate public criticism. People can improve themselves and still challenge unjust institutions. The deeper point is sequence. Competence gives criticism weight. A person who has learned to keep promises, solve problems, and care for others is better prepared to reform something larger. The address offers 5 practical lessons. Choose responsibilities that make you stronger. Aim at a future worth sacrificing for. Do not confuse explanation with helplessness. Tell the truth before falsehood becomes your environment. Improve what you can reach while preparing to confront what is larger. Peterson's speech was not really about choosing a career. It was about choosing a way of being. At every crossroads, one path offers immediate relief. Another demands effort, honesty, and responsibility. The easier path may reduce pain today. The harder path may create the person capable of carrying tomorrow.